Ever wonder what the difference is between a Democrat and a socialist? Well, you better not ask the head of the Democratic National Committee.
What's the big difference between a Democrat and a socialist? You're the chairman of the Democratic Party. Tell me the difference between you and a socialist.
The relevant debate that we'll be having over the course of this campaign is what's the difference between a Democrat and a Republican?
So she didn't know the answer then, but then she got a second chance yesterday to answer the question.
Can you explain the difference?
You know, Chuck, it's always fun to be interviewed by Chris Matthews, and I know that he enjoys that banter. The important distinction that I think we're going to be discussing, I'm confident we'll be discussing in this campaign, is the difference between Democrats and Republicans.
But that wasn't the question. And why didn't she answer the question? Let's talk to Fox News contributor and editor-in-chief of RedState.com, Eric Erickson, joining us today from Macon, Georgia. Good morning to Eric.
Good morning.
There is a difference between a socialist and a Democrat, isn't there?
There used to be. I don't know that there is anymore. It's a relevant question because Bernie Sanders has been an open socialist in the U.S. Senate, but he's running as a Democrat for president. So there really is a difference she should answer. But I don't know that there really is a difference anymore.
Do you think the reason she was reluctant and just kept deflecting was because she didn't want to anger Bernie's 10% or whatever he's got?
Yeah, I think probably so. But also, you know, polling suggests most Americans don't really care for open socialists. And she can't really say, well, there's no difference between us and the socialists anymore.
Because?
Well, there is no difference between them. You know, the Democrats used to maintain a distinction with capitalism and a support of capitalism. Now it's more government should control the means and ends of production, which is more socialist than the Democratic Party of FDR.
Right. It does seem to many people like the line between Democrat and socialist, given the way the Democratic Party has progressed, right. It's invisible now.
We're deeply hostile to free markets in a way. Well, socialists are.
Yeah. All right. All right. We've worked on that. Now let's talk a little bit about this. The day after the debate, this coming Friday, you're going to host a special festivity with 10 of the people on the Republican side who would like to be president. Where's this happening?
Atlanta, Georgia. We call it the Red State Gathering. This will be our 7th year. We've invited most of the presidential candidates: Chris Christie, Rick Perry, Donald Trump, Bobby Jindal, Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio. You name it, they'll be there.
Okay, and what do you hope to accomplish?
You know, we know all the punchlines about Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton. I'm really interested to ask these guys and to hear them say what the country will look like after 4 years of them. When they run for president again in 2020, if they're elected, what's your 2020 vision for the country? We don't need the red meat. We don't need the jokes. What should the country look like after 4 years of you?
What have you thought about the campaign thus far? I mean, in the last 3, 4, 5 weeks, it's all been about Donald Trump. I mean, he has really changed the dynamic of this particular race.
Yeah, and trying to respond to him. You know, Rick Perry, I think, has found his good footing of attacking Donald Trump from the right based on Trump's record. The other candidates kind of scrambling. Some of them marching to the beat of their own drummer. But Trump has taken all the oxygen out of the room. They have really struggled to find traction.
Well, and what do you think about the way you mentioned Rick Perry, how he responded? He said he essentially challenged Donald Trump to a pull-up contest. We had Rick Perry on the other day, and I said, well, how many pull-ups can you do? And he said, well, more than he can.
You know, it was definitely a clever line. If Trump's going to go bombast, Perry responding in kind, I guess, works.
Well, it seems to be working. More people on the Republican side seem to identify with Mr. Trump's message today than anybody else.
Yeah, well, you know, Republicans hate the Republican Party.
Well, you got a big festivity coming up Friday. Eric, thank you very much. Nice to see you.
You too.
Live here in the studio. All right, coming up, speaking of Donald Trump, he is here live. Will he be taking the gloves off for the debate on Thursday? We're going to ask him at the top of the hour.